As musicians, I think our main goal is to express, therefore to communicate. So communication should always be at the center of everything we do in every form of art, but especially as performing musicians, whether it's an orchestra, a soloist, opera, and the conductor. So my life is about communicating the passion of music, the emotions, the density, the message, the content of the pieces, communicating my own vision to the musicians, but also helping bridging the communication between the musicians on the stage and the audience. So this is why I find the social media aspect almost like an extension of what I do, because it's part of a responsibility I think we have. I'm not suggesting that everyone should do this, but it would be like being an actor and thinking, oh, but I don't like cameras. I mean, it doesn't go together. If you are a conductor, it's because you like to share and communicate. The first thing I want to share about Mendelssohn is the fact that I think he is still a little bit snubbed. He's still a little considered lesser than other composers. And I think there are some historical reasons to this, and some very important composers making a cabal against Mendelssohn, for example, Wagner, and I think that was not justified. And another reason is that, like Schubert and like Mozart, he died very young, and that is always a little problematic, because what we see is an extraordinarily talented, or genius, gifted composer, and the body of work he left us is not necessarily complete. It's something that we can imagine that 10 years more, 20 more years would have gone even further. But this is maybe what is the most fascinating for me with Mendelssohn, is how it's a mixture of being masterful in his orchestration. He was 15-year-old when he did the first symphony, and it was already a masterpiece in terms of orchestration. How effortless his music seems at first, like Mozart. And he was, many people said that when he was living. So, oh, that's the new Mozart of the Romantic era. But at the same time, what I want to bring in the symphonies now with the Chamber Orchestra of Europe is the visionary aspect in the Fifth Symphony, how it is extremely modern thinking, some tricks of orchestrations which will be taken precisely by Wagner later, or by Bruckner, or the way of combining the popular music with the sacred music, like in the Lobgesang, and being able to make us travel, like in the Italian Symphony and the Scottish Symphony. All of this is rooted in the knowledge of the Baroque era and Bach and the fugues and Handel as well, but at the same time turning into the future. And I believe it's fascinating to see maybe where other composers after him took their ideas, because they were already there with Mendelssohn. As a listener, and maybe even as a conductor, one of the moments where I find there is a vitality that is unlike anything else in the symphonic repertoire I know, it gets me down to my stomach and then uplifts my spirits. It's by the end of the second movement of the Scottish Symphony. This repeated 16th notes, semi-quavers that are, you realize after a few minutes that the whole body is just ready to explode with joy. And this, it even brings us to something spiritual and elevating the soul, because it's so precisely human.